Ladies and gentlemen, for the safety of our players and officials, we ask that all fans please stay off the court at all times, including halftime and immediately following tonight's contest. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, please stand as we honor America and those who serve with the singing of our national anthem. Being sung tonight by Sean L. Gross.
Again?
Huh?
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red and glare, bursting in air, came proof through the night that our flag it was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Tonight from Bradford High School on the north side of the city of Kenosha, it is time for the Kenosha Crosstown Classic, the game of the week, as the Tremper Trojans take on the Bradford Red Devils. Good evening, everybody. Pete Sargent reporting courtside along with Tom Roders and Nick Perini as we are getting ready for another renewal of this crosstown matchup. The Tremper Trojans coming in at 11-5 overall and 5-5 in the Southeast Conference. Bradford is 13-4, 7-3 overall, a game and a half out of first place. They need a win tonight to keep pace with first place, Racine Case. We're getting the player introductions, which means we'll send it right on over to Nick Perini with our starting lineups.
All right, for the Tremper Trojans at guard, number 4, 6'2", averaging 21.6 points per game, Jan Young. At the other guard, number 20, 6'2", Blake Hoffman, averaging 9.5 points per game. At forward, number 23, Jake Gross, 6'4", averaging 17.3 points per game. At the other forward, number 15, Preston Chamberlain, 6'1", averaging 6 points per game. And in the middle, number 33, Torrin Burns, 6'5", averaging 2.4 points per game. The Trojans are coached by Ben Shamness. For the Bradford Red Devils, at guard, number 21, 6 foot, DeQuante Sawyer, averaging 12.5 points per game. At the other guard, number 22, 5'10", Jalen Carlino, averaging 10.5 points per game. At forward, number 24, 6'6", Jayshawn Lee, averaging 15.2 points per game. At the other forward, number 20, 6'2", Will Darden, averaging 4.3 points per game. And Mr. Inside Outside, 0, 6'3", Maxwell Glass, averaging 14.6 points per game. Red Devils are coached by Greg Leach.
Both teams getting their introductions ahead of tonight's ball game. Of course, Usually we bring you the radio call. We realize you can see it here tonight. Glad to have you on board here on our WLIP live feed on both YouTube and Facebook. So if you could take the time to go ahead, give us a like, give us a share, and make sure you let your friends know that we've got high school basketball along the way here on AM 1050 WLIP. Tremper Trojans, of course, traveling blue uniforms, red numbers and trim. Bradford in the home whites. They got the cardinal red trim down the sides and the numbers as well.
You know, Pete, we'll talk about the first meeting between these two teams when we get a chance. But it was a close ball game. Ended up Tremper winning 65-63, but the last 13 seconds were hectic.
The jump is in the air. It will go towards Tremper as Jayon Young corrals it in the backcourt, and we are underway. Glad to have you on board on the WLIP live web feed. Working in the corner, coming up top, and now kicking back out to Young. He finds himself back on the wing. As Tremper will set up against this Bradford defense. Young's going to take a long three, and it scoops in and out on him. So 25 seconds into the ball game, and Jalen Carlino sets it up as they work around the perimeter now to Sawyer. Just underway here on the north side. DeQuante Sawyer, left wing, sends it up top for Jashawn Lee. And now over to Will Darden. Now he's got Lee in the post. Lee makes a move, turns around, spins, puts it up off the back iron. Could not get it to go, and the rebound comes down to Jake Gross. No score, 1 minute into the ball game.
Well, usually what you're going to do is corkscrew and jump shot. That time Lee went the other way and missed a shot. Tremper got the rebound.
Well, both teams are starting out in a man-to-man. We'll see how that goes. It looked like they had Jake Gross on Maxwell Glass. That will be a key matchup tonight. But now Tremper's dropped into a zone.
Tremper with the first turnover of the game. Here's Carlino for three. That goes offline. Nobody yet to score points in this game. Gross will drive the baseline, shoots it up into the air, but offline, and now Carlino off to the races back the other way, gets to the paint before they'll reset along the perimeter. Here comes Maxwell Glass, in and out for him.
A little tight to start this game, both teams right now. They're trying to score from the perimeter. I think they got to get it to the rim. We talked about that, I think, when we saw Tremper the last time, Pete. There it is.
Laying it in after a good drive is Blake Hoffman, and that's the first 2 points in the ball game. Comes 2 minutes in, Tremper has a 2-0 lead.
A lot of times before you score, you got to set yourself up. Hoffman did an excellent job. Right underneath the basket, laid it up and in for the first points of the game.
Glass finds it in the paint, tries to spin up towards the rim, could not get it to drain.
I think Burns got a piece of that, blocked that.
Oh. Young with a little in and out dribble over to Chamberlain. Chamberlain tries to get the angle towards the rim. Shot goes off the side iron, and we're going to get a whistle underneath.
Bradford's going to take over.
2-0 Tremper, 2.5 minutes into the ball game.
Tremper dropped in that 1-3-1 after that basket. Now they're in a 1-2-2, three-quarter. And they drop into that 1-2-2 with Jayon Young on the top. That's almost like a 2-3 with Kaufman up there as well.
Sawyer is going to take a long three, and he drills it from the corner, and Bradford has their first points of the ball game. It puts them up 3-2, 3 minutes in.
Excellent three-point shot by Sawyer. Ball fed right into the shooting pocket. 3-2, Red Devils lead by 1.
Young working on Darden, sends it over to Preston Chamberlain. Now Blake Hoffman has it in the corner, directing some traffic. Chamberlain, bounce, dribble underneath. Gross can't get it to check it. That's Hoffman, couldn't get it to go underneath. And it's going to be Bradford ball.
That was Burns. You were right the first time, Pete. He tried to go with his left hand that time. Obviously, a little short on that left hand, and Hoffman knocked it out of bounds.
1-3-1, full court press.
3-2, 3.5 minutes into the ball game. Bradford on the lead.
Tremper dropped into that 2-3 zone.
Here's a three from Sawyer. That goes off the back iron glass with the putback off the glass and in 5-2.
You better block him out or he'll get 30.
Well, he's Mr. Inside-Outside. He can shoot the three as well as going inside.
Young with the fader. That goes off the glass right into the waiting hands of Jashawn Lee. Now Carlina will drive, and he traveled, so that's a turnover.
Yeah, I think Young tried to do too much that time, Pete. He kind of forced that shot when he didn't really have to, fading away, and obviously couldn't get it to go.
Blake Hoffman will bring it across. 5-2. We're 4 minutes into this ball game. And there he lost it out of bounds into the Bradford bench. I'm going to say that Young got a piece of it.
Well, you know, Will Darden's got the task of stopping Jayon Young, who is their leading scorer at almost 22 a game. So
they get it into Burns. Now Blake Hoffman up top. Pass back to Hoffman. He works his way through the paint. It's back to the rim. He put up a shot, got it off the square, but couldn't get it to go, and he is slow to get up. And I think he's got a blood situation going on, so he's going to have to
that's going to delay the game a little bit because it's probably on the floor as well, so they're going to have to clean the floor along with taking care of Hoffman. He's got a bloody nose. We'll see if it's a cut, but
so they'll clean up the floor. Gives us an opportunity to let you know that basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Mason's Eatery and Pub, Highway 50 west of Green Bay Road, Kenosha. Also Building Waters, plumbing, heating, cooling, and refrigeration. Yeah. And Francetic Tax Resolution at 262tax.com. 5-2 as we get back to play.
Excuse me, back in the game, I should say.
Oh.
For Hoffman.
Lee drives, lays it in, Nick.
Yeah, is Cameron Huss, 6 foot and a senior, averaging 3.4 points per game.
Heck of a drive that time by Lee, right to the basket. That was a power move.
There's a put up and a miss. Now back down the other way. Sawyer will work his way through. Pops up a shot that gets knocked out of bounds. It'll be Tremper ball.
Yeah, Bradford had two guys on the offensive glass that time, and they were fighting for that rebound. It went off Maxwell Glass. It's nice to have two guys on the rebound rather than none.
Yeah, I would say two is better than none. That's great insight.
Two is better than none. Two is better than one. And Bradford, when they run their break, they stay nice and wide to get the ball up front.
Here comes Sawyer off to the races. Darden's going to put up a jumper. Can't get it to go, and the rebound comes back down to Chamberlain. Bradford playing on a 7-2 lead as we play with 12.5 before halftime as they find a wide open Burns in the paint, and he lays it in, 7-4.
Miscommunication that time by the Red Devils defense. Too easy for Burns that time.
You got to like Burns. He's 6'5", 6'5.5", only a sophomore.
Sawyer finds Lee underneath, and now Darden brings it to top of the circle, and they work it to Sawyer in the corner, who unleashes. Couldn't get the lid off the rim, and the rebound whiffed by Tremper. Glass found it, put up a three, and that went offline, and it'll roll out of bounds.
Yeah, well, we always said in basketball, if you take the shot on one side of the floor, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come off on the other side, and Bradford was able to grab that rebound. It was Maxwell Glass, but he put it long as well, and it went out of bounds.
Jayon Young trying to get past Darden here with the left hand. Gets in the paint, tries to feed, and the ball popped in the air. Chamberlain found it. Now Gross will put up a three. A laser goes in and out the inside of the rim, and Maxwell Glass finds that rebound. Now Carlino works his way into the circle and has to pump it out. Now we get a three-point attempt from Lee that will not fall. Young's off to the races, and he's got an easy layup on the back end from the left side, and now the lead has been cut to 1 at 7-6.
Yeah, long shot equals a long rebound, and that's what happened that time, and Young just took it the length of the floor.
Carlino had to dive for that ball, rolled it back out to Darden, now into the corner. Sawyer got fouled.
Yeah, looks like we got a foul. I think it's going to go on Chamberlain.
So that means we'll get our first foul shots of the ball game. Want to let you know that basketball and WLIP brought to you by Luigi's Pizzeria, 39th Avenue, just south of Highway 50 in Kenosha. Also Something Different, a sports fan fantasy land, 6th Avenue, downtown.
He was fouled on the drive, so Bradford inbound.
Yep, so Carlino off the inbound, puts up a 3. That goes off the side iron, no, and Burns will come down with the rebound.
Bradford's got to start taking the ball to the basket a little bit because those long shots are not falling at this point.
Chamberlain's got a long 3. Oh, and he dribbled it in. And Tremper back in front, 9-7, 10.5 remaining.
Yeah, rattled that shot in, did Chamberlain, from the top of the key.
Darden with a long pass underneath, and it got knocked away and out of bounds.
That was a heck of a block, I'll tell you.
Here comes the inbound. They work it around the inside, now back out the perimeter. Lee's got a 3, hit the back iron, glass over everybody, found that ball, and then he drove to the rim and laid it in with the right hand, and we tied the game at 9.
Good skill by Glass, took the long rebound, took it right to the basket after missing 2 long shots.
Young dribbled it out of bounds, I believe.
All right, we're at the 10-minute mark, and we're tied at 9. Tremper's dropping into, it looks like a 1-3-1 three-quarter court. We got Jayon Young up top, and we got a kick.
So it brings a stoppage of play. Let you know that basketball brought to you by Berkshire Hathaway Epic Real Estate. Tied at 9. On the inbound to Darden. They work around to Carlino. Young comes on him, so they bounce it back around to find Sawyer. Now they find Glass in the paint. He's got an easy jumper, but he can't get it to go. And then Young uses his frame to grab that rebound. Now here comes Gross on the other end. No, the second attempt, no, and a foul going to be called.
Yeah, Max Glass was going to pick up that foul. The ball rebound came right into Cameron Hess's hands. He went up with it, and Glass fouled him. He's going to go to the line and shoot 2.
Basketball and WLMP also brought to you by Sinus and Snoring MD with Dr. Swordlin on Green Bay Road. The first one is in. Also, Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha, just east of I-94 on Highway 50. Second one on the way. He nailed them both. Did Huss. And it puts Tremper in front 11-9 as we play under 9.5 minutes before the break. Lee with a long pass to Sawyer, almost knocked away by Gross, but they were able to contain it. Now pass underneath. Here is Glass driving the baseline. Had it knocked away, and they're going to call it a jump ball. Going to be Bradford ball on the jump ball.
This is a big 2 days for Cameron Huss, right?
Yeah.
Today the ball game, and then tomorrow being honored. The Holy
Yes.
Rosary High School Athlete of the Year.
Get a chance to talk to him tomorrow night before the ceremony. I'm sure he's looking forward to that, along with Elizabeth Thalia from St. Joe's, a 3-sport athlete.
No spaghetti for
No,
you.
that's right.
Very
no spaghetti with sauce.
Very portioned portion, if I can put it that way.
Portion.
That's right.
You better bring your cup then to measure.
I'm going to eat all the salad, boys.
Stay away from the antipasta.
Let's tell you what, it's good stuff over there, Holy Rosary. They know what they're doing. That's why you do it for 67 straight years. Sawyer going to put up a 3 from the right side. He airballed it right to Blake Hoffman. 11-9, Tremper has the lead, 8.5 remaining. Hoffman put up a short jumper that went off the side of the rim. And now Will Darden is off to the races. He found Lee, and we're going to have a whistle.
Travel. Lee forgot to put the ball on the floor first.
Is that important, Coach?
Yeah, you have to do that in this game. You got to put the ball on the floor first before you start moving your feet. Into the game for the Red Devils for Jay-Sean Lee is Trivian Gordon, coming in at averaging 8.7 points per game. Must have some blood on the floor again that need to be attended to. So we have a stoppage in play.
Pete, Tom, and Nick want to welcome Tom Roders back to the broadcast tonight. Off injured reserve and into the starting lineup.
You're being very kind, Pete.
He was on special assignment.
Yeah, that too.
Special assignment.
It's the longest special assignment. But we're glad to have you back on board, Tom. We had another dimension to this broadcast, which is always appreciated.
Pete doesn't like listening to me all the time.
My pleasure.
Well, you know, while Nick is counting stats on his toes, I need somebody else to help me offer insights and so forth. So, as we are getting a timeout here on the court, 8:24 remaining, 11-9 is the Tremper lead.
Well, Nick, why don't you talk about the importance of this game for Bradford tonight?
Well, the importance, obviously, they can pull within one game of Racine Case, who is leading the Southeast Conference at 9-2. Case defeated Park easily last night, 86-65. And Bradford has a meeting with Case on February 18th at the Case Fieldhouse. So this is a big game for not only the conference, but when we get into the quadrants, talking about the seeding, and we'll maybe get a chance to talk about that a little bit.
We're back in action now. They've got the court all cleaned up. 11-9 is the Tremper lead, as that's going to be a turnover as Young looked like he was trying to hit Jake Gross, who had tripped, and it went out of bounds.
Well, Gross tried to backdoor his man to the basket, and he fell on the floor. Unfortunately for Tremper, and Bradford was lucky, or Gross would have had a lay-in.
Carlino guarded by Young, hassling him.
Got away with a reach-in, did Young.
Long pass to Trevion Gordon. Now they'll work around the perimeter back to Will Darden. Darden back to Gordon. They're going to put it up over Hoffman, and he can't get that to go. And Torben Burns will nab the rebound. Under 8 minutes before halftime, Tremper with a 2-point lead, 11-9. Young through a double team, lost the basketball, and Bradford able to get it back to Quante Sawyer, found it. Now he finds Gordon. Gordon had it knocked away out of bounds.
Well, it looks like to me, Coach, that they're going to let him play a little bit, because you know, I thought on the other end, Young got sandwiched between two Red Devils, and then down here, that block, I think there's a piece of the hand.
I totally agree. Both teams are trying to break the ball down the floor. Again, the wider you stay on the break, the more successful your chances of succeeding with a 2-point or 3-point shot are in your favor.
Bradford with the ball, finding Carlino. Carlino's going to direct some traffic and pass it over across to Darden. Now he finds it again. Now he found a wide open three, and he nailed it. Nothing but net.
Well, Bradford's had a number of looks here in the first half, and finally Carlino got a long one to go down.
Well, they did a nice job of reversing the ball that time for Carlino. Cheyenne Young tried to answer that three-pointer and was unsuccessful.
So 12-11, Bradford in front. As Trevion Gordon works his way through the paint. No, second attempt, no. Glass is underneath there, trying to put up the shot. And now he finally is able to find it. And then we get a timeout on the court.
Timeout, Tremper.
30-second timeout.
Well, what happened that time, Jake Gross committed what we say in basketball, a cardinal sin. Never save underneath the opponent's basket. He tried to save the ball off of Glass, but instead Glass sent it right to him, and Glass got the ball and laid it in.
Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Ruffalo's 2 Family Restaurant on 45th Street in Kenosha. Also, Lou Perini's Gas and Grocery, home of Mama P's Ho-Ho Cake. They're on Sheridan Road, and Wingstop of Kenosha is on Highway 50. Pete, Tom, and Nick, as you can see here, courtside, Bradford High School, bringing you the Crosstown Classic. Our first attempt at doing this on video. So hopefully, on this end, it seems to be going pretty okay. Bradford has the lead right now, 14-11. Under 6.5 remaining now before halftime.
Once I figure out where the camera is, Pete, I'll be all right.
It's not on my face, I'll tell you that.
And I forgot to put my makeup on.
Oh, you look just fine. Your forehead's not shiny at all. Young with the layup goes off the glass, and Maxwell Glass finds it on the rebound. Sawyer feeding Gordon. Gordon through traffic. Shot is offline, and now here comes Blake Hoffman back the other way. Hoffman finds Young. Young was wide open for a moment, but he bobbled and lost his opportunity to three. So then he drove the basket, and it went offline, but he draws the foul.
See if Maxwell Glass is going to get that. No, it's going to go on Gordon. Gordon's going to pick that. His first. I was just going to say, I look up the scoreboard. He's only made 3 fouls called, Pete, in his first half.
I think you're right, Coach. You're letting him play.
Yeah.
Young's first shot goes in and out. Basketball on WLIP is also brought to you by Vigiano Insurance Agency. Call Steve and he'll shop for your insurance needs. Also, S.J. Crystal's menswear for the finest in men's fashions. It's clearly S.J. Crystal, 6th Avenue in beautiful downtown Kenosha. Young made 1 of 2 as he drained the second one. 14-12.
Into the game for the Tremper Trojans is number 12, Will Starks, came in the game. And Chamberlain came back in.
Bradford on the possession, trying to find the way through this Tremper defense.
Which is a 2-3 zone.
Carlina will just shoot a 3 over it, and that goes back iron, and that's the advantage to that defense, Coach. Try to make them put up that 3.
I'll tell you got to get ready to shoot the ball before you get it against the zone. And Bradford, I think, is waiting just a split second too long, and as a result end up rushing their shot and missing a 3-pointer.
Well, I don't want to question Coach Leach, but I think obviously that Mr. Inside Outside is probably their best outside 3-pointer, and that's Maxwell Glass. But he's at the free throw line. Coach Leach might want to put him out on the perimeter and put Jayshawn Lee inside.
Well, Lee's back in the ball game.
And inside right now.
I think Glass is getting a quick breather.
There's a pickoff. Young finds Huffman, who lays it in. And we're tied at 14.
Nice break that time by the Trojans.
Nice shot that time, drained through.
That was a heck of a shot.
16-14 for Sawyer.
Yep.
Now spinning in the lane, putting it up is Starks. Nice shot there to answer, and we're tied at 16, trading points back and forth in this last sequence, down to 4:10 remaining before halftime.
Now both teams are starting to settle down a little bit.
Will Darden found himself a wide open 3, and he nailed it off the glass. That's how you coach it, boys. 19-16.
The bank is open.
Little deposit slip for Will Darden that time.
There is Jake Gross flying through to the rim and putting it in. 19-18.
His first bucket of the first half. Jake Gross.
I've always liked him, Coach.
Yeah.
It looks like he's lost some weight, too. Looks a lot quicker than he did a year ago when I saw him.
A little taller, too.
Yeah.
Carlino's going to air it out. Offline, though.
Uh-oh.
And now they get a long pass down to Hoffman, who was way cheating down towards the end of the court. And it pays off for the Trojans. They take the lead after the lay-in, 20-19.
Got to get back defensively. It's your first responsibility.
Oh,
Lee,
faced
look.
the basket.
Exactly.
Travel. You got away with a travel. It's Sawyer.
Now here is Lee through traffic, puts up a shot. That's not going to go. And the rebound comes down to Tremper. Here comes the 3 for Gross in the corner. That spun in and out on him. And the rebound up for grabs for a moment, but now Darden will come the length of the court.
Beautiful.
Nice pass to Gordon, who finished the play. Trevion Gordon, 21-20, down to 2:40.
He had Carlino on his left, no look pass to his right, easy lay-in.
Here comes Hoffman, couldn't complete the play. And the rebound will come underneath to Bradford. Here's Sawyer through the crowd, could not complete to the rim, and Jake Gross back bouncing to Blake Hoffman. Here comes the three, in and out, couldn't get the lid off the rim. 21-20, Bradford, 2:10 and counting. Before halftime, senior night here on the north side of Kenosha, Bradford's last home game in the regular season.
Yeah, last home one. They're on the road the last 4 weeks.
Here comes Sawyer. He'll draw the foul as he was attacking the rim and to shoot two.
Not going to go on Starks. Starks is going to pick up that foul, his first, the team's second.
As you said, Coach, they finish on the road with 4. If they can get 2 or 3 of those 4, they might be able to get a home game when they seed the regional.
Well, you know, we talked about it just right before the coaches did, and you know, he thinks he needs obviously to keep winning if he's going to get a home game, either a 2 or a 3, possibly a 1, depending on the 18th when they play Case head-to-head.
And of course, that makes this game so crucial. You want to stay a game behind and maybe have a chance for a conference-type, championship-type game on that date.
Here we go. Little press, little change of defense.
22-20 off the foul shots. Chamberlain lost the basketball.
Tip it in.
Here's Glassell by his lonesome. Couldn't complete it, but that's because he was fouled.
Yeah. Jake Gross hustling down. Good hustle play by Gross. Tried to block that on Maxwell Glass, who had an easy layup. Going to make him earn it from the free throw line.
Basketball brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit, I-94 on Highway 50 across from Woodman's. Also, Westosha Sports Complex, Zero to Hero Conditioning. Visit WestoshaSportsComplex.com. As he missed the first. And also Triangle Flooring, Furniture, and Appliance Center, Highway 50 at 39th Avenue in Kenosha. Second one is on the way. Glass 0 for 2 that time.
Wow.
So it remains a 2-point lead for the Trojans, for the Bradford, with 90 seconds remaining. As we're going to get a foul on the back end here on the shot.
Wow. Yeah, the foul's going to go on Gross, his second. Took the charge, kind of questionable call that time, but went in the Red Devils' favor.
That's 2 on Gross.
Yeah, that's 2 on Gross, has to come out. Bradford's going to inbound with 1:32 left to go in his first half.
Sawyer takes the top of the circle. Now Lee with the shot, Lee with the connection.
Yep.
24-20.
That's what you wanted, Coach. A little high-low. That time it was Lee outside, Glass inside.
Well, Lee was like at the free throw line, had a short jumper, and that's better for him rather than that three-pointer.
Young made the basket, but they're going to wave it off.
On the drive, a hand check call on number 1, to Najee Ellis, who just came in the game.
So Jayon Young on the inbound gets it into Starks. Now Preston Chamberlain will unload a 3 that will not get the angle in. And now Bradford bringing it back the other way. That was rejected as he was going up to the rim, and it got knocked away for Ellis.
Burns with the rejection. Corin Burns, we talked about it, a sophomore at 6'5".
He's going to be a good player, Coach.
Yeah, it's going to have to work in the offseason on his offense, though.
Glass from the pass from Sawyer. Completes the play. The lead is 6 as we're down to 35 seconds.
It's like stopping a truck going to the basket.
Well, Mr. Inside and outside. This time he was inside.
Yep.
Driving the baseline. Starks can't get the play to the shot to go, I should say. And now Glass has the rebound. See, Bradford plays for that last shot with 14 seconds.
Well, now Glass is on the perimeter, where I think he's most effective.
Now the ball is loose, and Sawyer did get the shot off, but it is offline, and it's halftime. 26-20 is the halftime score here at the Bradford Fieldhouse on the Game of the Week on WLIP. We are live tonight on YouTube and on Facebook, so if you are watching the game, please share it, please hit like, and make sure that your friends and others can go ahead and watch this game. You know, it must be something about teenage basketball players. They just got to touch things as they go by. I know exactly what that is. So we will keep it here through halftime. Again, Pete, Tom, and Nick reunited again tonight. Back and forth. The lead is 6 for Bradford at halftime, but Tremper certainly has had their share of leads here tonight. And you know, when we saw the Tremper Trojans last week against the Indian Trail Hawks, they held tight in that first half based on that defense, that 2-3 zone that they were in. And what ended up happening in the second half of that ball game is once it went off to the races with Indian Trail up and down, Tremper just could not get set. Whereas it seems to me Bradford gets Glass underneath the glass, if you'll pardon the pun there, and they're able to try to penetrate that defense, attack it a little differently than Indian Trail was last week.
Well, when we saw them come out of the half last week, Indian Trail, they were able to get easy baskets in transition because they had nobody to step in front of Ezra Stargell, and they had a lot of easy baskets. Did the Hawks in that game in that second half. If I recall, they had I think 53 points in that second half. Did the Hawks. So we're going to have to see how Ben Chamness, the coach of Tremper, has to make some changes, because if you look right before the half, Coach, I thought Tremper took some very bad shots to allow Bradford to get this 6-point lead. It was 21-20, and there was a lot of time left, and they could have taken some time off the clock and gotten an easy shot here or there. But I don't think they were good shots. Did you?
No, I didn't either, but it all started by Bradford getting back defensively, and as a result, they limited Tremper to one shot, and then all of a sudden they were out and running, and just like you said, once they got Lee and Glass working high and low, that gave them an extra dimension, and that's why they've got a 6-point lead at halftime. Obviously, you don't need to know anything about basketball to know that both of these teams have two different skill sets. Bradford is very quick. They can get to the basket very easily. They've got to get somebody on the backside in case they miss a long shot. On the other hand, Tremper, once they get the rebound, if they don't have the fast break, they've got to set something up and try and work for a 2-point shot or a short 3-pointer. But so far, a good ball game.
Well, obviously, we're coming down. We were mentioning the stretch run of the season as 4 games basically left after tonight, and still a lot up for grabs when it comes to the tournament. And the seeding meeting's coming up, Nick, but I know you always stay on top of these things. You're our guru when it comes to that.
Well, I talked to both coaches. I showed them where I thought it is right now, but that could change within the next 2 weeks before that seeding meeting comes. But when you're looking at the seeding, and I'll just briefly go through it from Bradford, Tremper, and Indian Trail. Now, Indian Trail has a game tonight, a non-conference game against Union Grove at home. I think it's at home. It might be at Union Grove. No, I think it is at Union Grove, but that's a big game for Indian Trail tonight. But when you look at it here, I have Case right now as the #1 seed in the 18-team quadrant based on their 14-3 overall. But as we said previously, Bradford has a big game at Case on the 18th of this month. which could make a big difference in who's going to win the conference in the Southeast Conference. If Bradford can hold serve tonight, and then both those teams continue to win, that game will probably be for the championship, or at least a share of the championship, if Bradford defeats Case at Case. So I have Bradford at number 2, but they could end up in the number 1 slot. For Tremper, I have them at number 5 right now. They're 11-5 overall. This is a big game for them. They are done with Case. They don't play Case again. But in the next 2 weeks, those games are very important. This coming Tuesday, they play Westosha Central. Even though it's not in the conference, that is a big game, for them in the non-conference. And then you have Indian Trail, who right now I have them at a 10 seed. They are 9-9 overall, and they lost a tough one at Oak Creek on last night, 46-43, which was kind of a low-scoring game. But that's the type of ball that Oak Creek plays. And Anthony Bernero just had a monster game for the Hawks, but he didn't have any help from the rest of the Hawk players. So, they came out with a loss. So they're at 6-6 in the conference, and obviously 9-9 overall.
The one team I find out is really pretty good is West Dallas Central. And West Dallas Central has the home floor advantage in the sectional. So everything gets seeded, as you well know, up to the sectional. And if West Dallas Central is still alive, that means that they could have the home floor throughout the entire sectional and make it to Madison. But like you said, anything can happen. Well, you can lose a player due to injury. You can lose a player due to grades.
Well, Coach, you talk about Westosha Central, and I have them at the 4 seed right now. They could drop to the 5, and Tremper could move up depending on the next 2 weeks where those teams will fall. So there's a lot of jockeying right now in the next 2 weeks for some of these teams. And then again, we've talked about it many times. You got to sell your team and sell your conference and sell the quality wins you got. And head-to-head competition is one of those. And that big game with Case and Case and Bradford on the 18th will bode well to see which one of those teams either gets a 1 seed or the 2 seed, or possibly a 3, depending on how the other teams. Milwaukee Hamilton I have right now as a 3 seed. They are 11-4, but they are 6-0 in the Milwaukee City. Is Hamilton?
Yeah, and who knows how tough they are?
Who knows really how good they are? But they're undefeated right to this point, which is February 7th. So
coming down to it, and you talk about the politicking in those seeding meetings, and all the coaches getting together. Was it usually early on a Saturday morning after you played the night before, and you really have to go to bat for your team,
or a Sunday morning,
which makes it even more fun, I'm sure.
That's right.
Once you get into tournament play, there's certain things you got to be able to do without thinking about them, and that's why you've got to develop good habits right now. Because if you get into a sectional semifinal and you got to put one foot in front of the other, you might as well get the baseball bats out, because you're not going to be playing too far.
When we talk about the county, all right, we talk about Westosha right now, Westosha Central. I'm looking at them as a 2 seed right now. I got Elkhorn as a 1 seed. They are 14-3 and 9-1 overall.
Yeah.
Westosha Central is 10-7. So is Waterford, but they just beat Waterford, so they're going to get the edge at the 2 seed. And Waterford, I have getting the 3 seed. Then you have Waukesha West, all right? You have a team out of the Classic 8 that plays tough competition game in and game out, and they're 8-8, and I have them at a 4 seed, and they could really push toward moving up in that seeding, either a 2 or 3.
And if someone says Elkhorn, what do you got to worry about Elkhorn? Wisconsin just signed a football player from Elkhorn. So it's not like it was when we were young, and the county schools sometimes are a little short because they didn't have the numbers. I'll tell you what, you got to be ready to play 5-on-5 or you're going home.
And we saw Elkhorn play Wilmot, and they have two outstanding players, probably two of the better players in the Southern Lakes Conference, in Jordan Johnson, a guard, and Nick Brown in the post. And those two players are monster players. And Nick Brown, who we saw against Wilmot, is already committed to go to Parkside to Luke Regal. So he's a real deal, and he's going to play division. He's going to play Division II, and I'm sure he's probably got a scholarship as well. So, you know, Elkhorn, obviously, if they stay right where they are, will be the #1 seed, I think, in that quadrant.
We are at the half. The second half warm-ups have commenced, at least for Bradford, as we have Tremper just starting to come out back onto the court to throw a few warm-up tosses. 26-20 is the halftime score.
Yep. Leading scorers in this halftime, Maxwell Glass has 8 points for the Red Devils, and Blake Hoffman has 6 points for the Trojans. Jayon Young only has 3 points in his first half for the Tremper Trojans. Jake Gross only has a basket, but he's got 2 fouls, so it's going to be important that Coach Chamness finds a way to get the ball to Jake Gross. He's too good a shooter. They're going to have to get him some more shots in the second half.
And it seems to me that the onus would be on Tremper to keep pace in this ball game. I mean, you know, Bradford hasn't exactly been hot from beyond the arc, so, you know, if you can keep them maybe on the perimeter shooting and defend more underneath, you stand a chance to keep this game close in the second half.
Well, when you're missing an outside shot, you can either obviously do one of two things: keep shooting the outside shot, as Bradford did, or start working the ball inside. So we'll see what Coach Leach decides to do to start the second half, as well as Coach Chamness.
We are getting ready to start the second half of play. Pete, Tom, and Nick here with you. Glad you joined us on our live web stream here tonight, the WLIP YouTube page, and shared on Facebook as well. So make sure you like and share, and send this broadcast along so others can like and share it too.
And if you join us next week, we are on Friday night. We're back to Friday night. We got Case at Indian Trail on Friday. Is that correct?
You are absolutely correct, and obviously Case leading, Indian Trail chasing, and all going back to that conversation we were just having about jockeying for position this time of year.
Yeah, those quality wins down at the end there. You got Case, who is probably considered the #1 seed. If they can get beat by Indian Trail, that opens it up for Bradford, maybe Milwaukee, Hamilton, or other teams.
Could do Bradford a big favor if you can win that ball game if you're Indian Trail. But first things first, we got another half of basketball here tonight. We're back underway. 26-20, the halftime score. Tremper on the possession. Blake Hoffman will open up the second half on a positive note for the Trojans, 26-22.
Well, Bradford started out man-to-man. Now here's Tremper back in that 1-3-1.
And that means we'll see Bradford go along the perimeter as they try to find the seam in that defense. Either that or try to find the open shot over it. As they send it underneath, and there is Jashawn Lee, and that's how you find that seam. 28-22 in the first minute of the second half.
They ran a Perini down pick for a layup.
That was your high-low, coach, that you wanted. They ran a high-low that time with Jashawn Lee and Glass.
That headset must be going over by Coach Leach.
First foul of the half belongs to Bradford. That is Glass's second foul. Young at the line, he made the first. Basketball brought to you by Mason's Eatery and Pub, Highway 50, west of Green Bay Road, Kenosha. Young made them both. 28-24.
I just have a feeling this one's going down to the wire, boys.
Oh, you're probably right, Coach.
It always seems to when it's these two teams.
Just like the girls' game in which Tremper girls won by a point.
Slimmest of margins.
Yep.
This is a 4-point lead in this one for Bradford. First 90 seconds of the second half. Again, Bradford going to be very deliberate with this defensive formation for the Trojans.
They're trying to pull Tremper out of their zone into a man-to-man, but so far, no dice.
Here comes Sawyer. Sawyer will dribble it in, hands it off to Darden. Now back to Sawyer. Now he's got Glass underneath. He'll draw the, nope, they're going to call a foul.
Yeah,
yes, they will.
Jake Gross is going to get that foul, I think, coming from the weak side. That's going to be his third foul, and Tremper can't afford to lose Jake Gross. They're not going to give him 2 shots.
I'm going to say
it's
on the
gonna be
floor.
Inbounds on the floor.
Lee contested by Hoffman, but that left Carlino wide open for a 3. Couldn't get it to go, but Glass with a good rebound, and then he puts up a jumper and connects for 2, and it's 30-24. 2 minutes in.
You know, that one might have got a little Glass on that.
On both ends.
Yeah.
Here's Young for a long 3. One and done that time for the Trojans as Jashawn Lee found the rebound.
It's a big basket right here.
Sawyer taking it, missing it, but there's Glass again with the rebound. He found Sawyer again, and Sawyer works his way through the defense, weaving to the rim, puts it in, and indeed, Coach Shamness takes a full timeout, stops the clock at 15:29 here in the second half. Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Building Waters, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling. That's what they do. And don't forget refrigeration, too. Also, Francetic Tax Resolution. Don't get frantic. Get Francetic. Go to 262tax.com. And Luigi's Pizzeria, 39th Avenue, just south of Highway 50. 32-24, Bradford lead. Crosstown Classic. This is actually the final game tonight of what has been a day-long tournament here on the north side of Kenosha. Nick mentioned the girls' game, not necessarily an odd occurrence to have the girls' varsity than the boys' varsity, but this has been an all-day tournament here today.
Well, it's not really a tournament. What it really is the girls and guys coming together, the coaching staff of both the ladies or the girls and the guys, a fundraiser for a daycare, I think it is. They sold T-shirts. Both teams bought T-shirts. I think Bradford's obviously in the red T-shirt and Tremper's in the blue T-shirt as a fundraiser. The T-shirts were $10, and I think some of that, along with the 50-50 raffle and other things, are going to a daycare here in Kenosha.
34-22 as we're back to play. Air shot, but Burns is able to find that rebound. And now here comes Hoffman to put it up. Hoffman, no. Young, no. And Glass finally found it. And now he found Lee all by himself, but Lee cannot complete the play. And the rebound comes back down to Burns. Now here's Hoffman. Hoffman, Young, yes. Jayon Young from Blake Hoffman.
Well, that's a 4-point swing.
32-26.
Bradford had a 4-0 break there for Jashawn Lee, and he missed the layup. Unfortunately, wasn't able to complete it, and Trevor comes down and scores.
Here comes Glass again. Glass with the right hand, no. And the rebound down to the Trojans, but that got knocked away, and somehow Glass kept it in bounds, put up the shot, no, and now it's going to be up for grabs, and that's a turnover. Bradford ball.
I think it's going to be Bradford ball.
Yes, indeed. I think Tremper got it and was not able to hold on to the possession there, so Bradford will keep it.
Tremper was going to they were going to outlet it, and Glass put his hands up, and it came right to him.
Now here's Jashawn Lee underneath. He got fouled.
Yeah, got to complete that, though. Got to finish that play. Foul's going to go on Burns.
That was does a beautiful job of passing the ball around the perimeter. The ball only hit the floor once there was a bounce pass involved in the rotation.
He makes that one. Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Something Different, a sports fan fantasy land. 6th Avenue in beautiful downtown Kenosha. And Luigi's Pizzeria, 39th Avenue, just south of Highway 50. Craving a stuffed pepper from Luigi's tonight. Offline for Lee on the second one, 33-26.
No box out that time.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy, Glass, just unlucky
That was a
once
four.
I got up there.
That was a 4.
The proverbial 4-pointer.
Yeah.
Now Hoffman's in some trouble at center court. They're going to call it jump ball.
He tried to call timeout, but the ref didn't hear him. Too much noise did Hoffman, and they're going to give the ball to Bradford on the alternate possession.
4 minutes into the second half. 33-26. Here is Sawyer sending it off the side of the iron, and the rebound comes down to Burns. Now Young sends it up to Hoffman. Hoffman advancing through the paint to the rim and in. 33-28.
Well, you got to call something there, but
Yeah, Glass tried to pick up that charge.
uh-oh.
Woo! Chamberlain's going to pick up the foul. Reaching in. If he was able to get the ball without fouling, he had a breakaway. But he's called for the foul, reaching in, and Jake Gross is coming in the game for Starks. Will Starks, number 12.
Coach Chamness going to roll the dice, Coach, right here, 13-39.
Well, Gross only has 3, so.
Right.
But
Of course, at the high school level, they give you 5 fouls before you foul out.
Right.
6 in the pros. Sawyer dribbling back and forth now to Lee, who will put up a shot that bounces straight up and then back down to Glass. And Maxwell Glass finds some net, 35-28.
Oh.
Now here is Gross.
now he's got his 4th.
Yep, he'll pick up that charge.
Yeah. You know, Maxwell Glass takes up a lot of space down low, and when he gets that rebound, he's hard to stop down low, Coach.
I don't think there's any question about that. He's got a complete game. Only thing that I think that he could use is maybe a couple more inches.
And I think I don't know if he can take the ball with some authority to the basket. I know he can go inside and he can shoot from the perimeter. But I've yet to see him take the ball hard to the basket.
Here is Glass with a nice jumper from the right angle.
Right on cue.
I think Ben needs a timeout here, Coach. I don't know if he's going to get one, though.
Yeah, he's a bucket away from getting blown out of here.
Yeah. Will
Darden's going to pick up a foul.
Yeah, Darden's going to pick up his first.
That's the other problem. Bradford's got 2 fouls and Tremper's got 4.
Ben's got to find a way to get Jayon the ball somehow down low or wherever.
Hoffman puts it up with the right hand, short. And Glass, through all sorts of traffic, somehow nabbed that rebound.
Down the Lee.
Tremper's gone to man now, it looks like. Starks came in for Gross. He's guarding Maxwell Glass.
Finds Carlino. Carlino driving, kicks it out. Darden puts up a 3. That goes off the inside of the rim.
He called traveling on Carlino that time before he passed it out.
It was already a dead ball.
They ran a little flex cut. They had a layup, but didn't take it.
Well, I think Carlino tried to go faster, and he's capable of going. And that's what happened with that travel.
Here's Chamberlain. That jumper will end up in the hands of Young, who lost it right into the arms of Glass. Now here's Carlino. Carlino sends it out. Here's Sawyer. Sawyer driving baseline through traffic with a little backhand, no. But the rebound bounced out to Glass, who unleashes an air ball. Lee underneath, that will not go. And finally, Tremper's going to be able to clear it.
Well, not finishing at the rim are the Red Devils that time. Now here we got Darden picking up a second foul right away.
Darden, second personal, third team. And now for the Red Devils, number 11.
Trevian Gordon's coming back in the game for the Red Devils for Jay-Sean Lee.
I tell you, Bradford's got exceptional quickness at all positions.
Yeah, they just have to finish at the rim.
Yeah.
If they were able to finish at the rim, this would be a double-digit.
Number 20, Will Darden.
He's going to pick up his third, Will Darden. So either he's going to have to come out or he's going to have to switch men. As he's guarding Trevian Gordon now is going to take Jayon Lee, or Young, excuse me.
37-28 is the Bradford lead. 11:05 and counting in the second half. Starks lost the basketball, and now here comes Sawyer. Sawyer goes one way, then the other, and then he drew the foul as he put up the shot.
I think that's going to be on Burns.
That's his second personal, team's fifth. Calling this one a little tighter in the second half. Sawyer's first one is on the way. It's in. Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Berkshire Hathaway Epic Real Estate. Sinus and Snoring MD with Dr. Swerdlin on Green Bay Road, and Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha just east of I-94 at Highway 50. He made them both. 39-28.
Najee Ellis came in the game for Darden. Darden went to the bench with 3 fouls, 3 all in the second half. And now Glass is going to pick up a foul. Maxwell Glass. And that's his third. Cameron Huss is in the game for Chamberlain. Lee's coming in for Glass. Glass has to go sit down. 10:46 with 3 fouls.
Inbound will come into Jayon Young. Bradford on their largest lead of the night by 11 points. Young will drive to the basket, and then a second attempt will not go either. So here comes Bradford back to their end, and that ball got lost out of bounds.
Coach Leach just put his hands over his face like, what are we doing? I've been there and done that.
Just because you have an 11-point lead doesn't mean you like everything you see.
Right.
That's all I ever did.
Have 11-point leads?
No.
Oh.
Put my hands over my face. I usually use 2 timeouts before the game started.
That's a turnover. Jayon Young, not real sure about that call.
We called a traveling call.
Yep. Not sure I saw it myself, but, I'm a little farther away than the official.
Excellent depth perception, Pete.
There's Sawyer out to Ellis. Now Gordon. Gordon will kick it back out, finds a wide open Carlino. He unleashes. Offline, but a good offensive rebound by Lee so they can reload. Under 10 minutes to play, 39-28 Bradford.
Well, long shots equal long rebounds, and Tremper's not getting those rebounds.
Here comes Gordon on the drive. Gordon, no. And finally, Tremper gets it out of there. Starks lost the ball in the paint. Still up for grabs, and now Lee found it. Here's Gordon. Gordon to the rim. No, and he will go to the line.
He's got a foul.
Stops the clock at 9:32.
See where that foul's going to go on.
Blake Hoffman.
Oh.
16 at the line, number 11.
16 foul. It's Hoffman's first. Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Lou Perini's Gas and Grocery, home of Mama P's Ho-Ho Cake. They're on Sheridan Road. Also Ruffalo's 2 Family Restaurant on 45th Street. And Wingstop of Kenosha. They're on Highway 50. Pete Dominic, Bradford Fieldhouse, the storied Bradford Fieldhouse, for another Bradford Tremper game. Bradford leading this one now by 12, 40-28 after the made free throws.
Oh.
Burns' pass got deflected, and now Bradford picks it up, and let's see what we're going to have on the whistle.
I got a technical. He just gave a technical.
To who?
I don't know.
Chamberlain?
It's either Starks or Burns.
They will go on Will Starks, number 12.
Second personal. At the line, shoot a technical foul.
So that means Jalen Carlino will stand at the line to shoot the technical foul shots. And he makes the first. Basketball on WLIP is also brought to you by Vigiano Insurance Agency. Call Steve and he'll shop for your insurance needs.
I was just going to say, this isn't exactly what Coach Shamness needs, is a technical right here. We've done 3 Tremper games now, and they seem to get a technical at an inopportune time.
Which is so strange because in high school basketball, you might not see a technical more than once or twice a year. And there have been a couple of times on this season, as you've mentioned, when we've seen them. And, you know, and these games are emotional games. I don't have to tell you guys, you've coached in them for years and years. And, you know, the blood gets boiling. But that again, where kind of the coaching comes in, you got to be able to contain your emotions, especially at this stage of the ball game.
Yeah, you're right. You got to be able to control that, and Tremper gets them. It just seems at the inopportune time. Right now, the team they have on the court is not meshing together right now, and they don't have, other than Jayon Young, a legitimate scorer. You know, with Jake Gross on the bench with 3 fouls, he's one of their better players, second leading scorer on the team. You know, he's not on the court, and, you know, Bradford's extending, obviously, their lead to 14 right now. So Tremper's got to find a way to get some people to be able to score. I was just going to say before that technical, you don't want Burns, who is 6'5" and a sophomore, dribbling the ball up the court. All right, and he made what we call a telegraph pass. And that's why it got picked off. He kind of telegraphed it who he was going to pass it to. Consequently, it led to the technical foul.
42-28 as we return to play. Bradford on the lead about halfway through the second half.
And Gross is back in the game for Starks.
Carlino? Nope.
Carlino. He's going to hit one of these, Coach.
How about Ellis taking that ball away just now? And then a nice rejection on the shot, but again, Bradford able to get the rebound. Here comes Sawyer. Sawyer mails it around to Hoffman, who finds Gross, and Gross finishes on the back end.
It probably should have been a technical. Somebody slapped the backboard as they were going by.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, I didn't see who it was either. But somebody slapped that backboard.
Here's Carlino connecting. And he will draw the foul.
And Hess is going to get that. Foul.
So that means he will go to the line to shoot the three-point play.
The old-fashioned way.
Carlino at the line.
44-30. Carlino can extend this to a 15-point lead, and he does. 8.5 to play. Bradford playing on their largest lead of the night. And Tremper's going to need some offense in a hurry. Gross will try to supply it.
Nope.
Not with that shot. And it's another one and done. Here comes Ellis back the other way. Now Gordon. Gordon to the rim.
Oh.
Got it knocked away, but Lee found it and laid it in. Ain't no big thing. 47-30.
I thought Gordon got fouled.
So did I.
but obviously nothing called.
Oh, nice
pass underneath. Nice pass, nice connection that time on the Trojans for Cameron Huss to complete that play.
Yeah, nice pass by Burns.
Now Carlino puts up a three that goes off the glass. And off back the other way is Tremper.
Oh,
Hoffman missed that one.
Spread it.
Carlino
Oh.
can't finish.
you call a foul there? Wow.
Sure looks like it.
For the foul number 14, Cameron Huss.
Cameron Huss going to pick up his second. 9th team foul, and of course significant because that's bonus time now for Bradford.
I didn't see a foul there, but Carlino's going to go to the line to shoot two.
Number 15, Preston Chamberlain.
Makes the second. 49-32. Largest lead of the night, Pete.
Under 7.5 now. Jayon Young gets it over into the corner for Chamberlain. Now Chamberlain gets it back to Young and then work around the perimeter to Huss, and here's Gross. Gross dribbling, spinning, putting it up and connecting. Nice form by Jake Gross, 49-34.
Beautiful shot.
Oh,
There's Sawyer. He had it knocked away from him.
Young's going to get a foul there, reaching in. Jayon Young.
Quarter foul number 4, Young. First personal. 10 with a double bonus.
Double bonus time now for Sawyer.
Sawyer.
50-34 now after that one.
Glass is coming in for Gordon. Max Glass is coming in for Gordon. Okay. Sawyer's going to bounce it a couple times and then shoot the free throw and missed. Missed to the right. Tremper takes over. Here's Preston, short. Gross with the rebound. Gross with the jump shot and in from 15 feet. Jake Gross.
Getting hot down the stretch, Coach.
Yeah, he needs to, Coach. He needs to get hot. They're down 14. We're at 50-36 with 6:29 left to go in the game.
Glass gets it over for Lee. Lee puts it off the side iron, and Jake Gross able to nab the rebound.
Oh,
Chamberlain sent it through traffic and had it knocked.
that pass would have gotten through. That would have been the greatest pass I've ever seen. I've seen quite a bit of them.
You've thrown quite a bit of them.
Yeah, to the other team.
Young will inbound it. Finds Gross. Gross is going to put up a three because he was open, and he connects. Jake Gross.
He got 3 in a row.
50-39, trying to get his team back in this one. The lead is down to 11.
You're exactly right, Coach. He's got 3 right in a row. 3 for 3 here.
And Tremper's got time. There's 6 minutes and counting now.
They got plenty of time.
They got to play defense, though.
Yeah, and they've got to get another foul or 2 against Bradford's defense.
Glass's shot.
Push it.
Yep, airmailed.
They're pushing it. They got Gross.
Anybody say number 4?
There's Gross again.
There it is. And it's 9, and Bradford needs a timeout.
Yeah. Bradford needs a timeout, full timeout.
This Bradford lead still is 9, but it was almost doubled that. It has drained in a hurry here as the Trojans have started their run.
Yeah, exactly. Jace Gross, as I said during that timeout, they needed to get him back in the game because they didn't have enough scorers on the floor. And he's delivered now with 3 baskets and 4 baskets, 1 of 3, 9 points to cut this deficit to 9 at 50-41.
Well, there's plenty of time left. It would be nice for Tremper if they were already in a bonus, but they've got to pick up. Well, now they've got to pick up 1 foul.
Yeah,
they're in pretty good shape. They're in pretty good shape. They take their time, work for a good shot, get somebody in rebounding position. In case they miss the shot, they can creep right back into this game.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, Bradford's in the double bonus, coach, so any common foul is going to be 2 shots automatically. And trailing, they're going to have to get up on their players and try to get in the passing lanes to make some steals and so forth without fouling, because you're going to send Bradford to the line for 2 free throws. Got a technical?
Yep, Gross will take the shots.
I didn't see that. What's the technical for?
I have no idea.
It's listed as Antequante Sawyer on the scorebook. Gross made them both.
And Tremper's going to get the ball here. They cut it to 7.
He's in double figures in the last 120 seconds.
Yeah.
And now the lead is just 7.
Now they have some time. They can convert here. This is a big possession.
As Pete would say, hit a 3 and hit a 4.
You call the travel. Hoffman drove the lane, as you saw. Took a little bit too many steps, and obviously that basket is going to be wiped away. Tremper's now got to tighten their defense here without fouling here. Bradford's got to be patient and take good shots here.
Sawyer on the dribble. Brings it across the paint and now hands it off for Lee. Lee will take it in stride and complete the play. 52-43. Bradford needed that one.
That was a big basket.
And then they foul on the other end, and Hoffman went down hard. Still on the court. They're going to, the medical staff out to look at him.
Is it ankle?
Who's 20, Hoffman?
He's holding his head. Yeah, he's holding his head. Fouls on Jason Lee for Bradford, his first. But I don't know, I couldn't see with the cheerleaders in the way if he hit his head on the floor.
So they will work on Hoffman. The clock stops at 4:54 here in the second half. Tremper has been on a run. They have cut this lead, but now Bradford back up 52-43. Pete Tomanek here with you at the Bradford Fieldhouse here tonight. It's been a good one between these two crosstown rivals. And you know, if you're just joining us tonight, we talked about a lot of the implications in this ball game because, you know, especially for Bradford chasing Case in the conference, only 4 road games left after tonight.
Yeah, well, Bradford's got 3 of those road games in Racine at Case Park and Horlick. So, and 1 extra one in the conference that they have to play. So, obviously that big game at Case will be a big one. So, that will be a big one.
Cameron Huss will come into the ball game. Hoffman able to walk it out under his own power. So a couple of free throws coming here. First one is in for Huss. 52-44. Basketball on WLIP is brought to you by Vigiano Insurance Agency. Call Steve and he'll shop for your insurance needs. Second one is in. So Cameron Huss off the bench to the charity stripe, and he made them both 52-45. Sawyer hands it off for Glass. Long pass across to Carlino. Carlino will put up a jumper. That's going to go in and out on him. And Young right there to grab the rebound. Young through traffic.
Goodness.
got the foul. They're going to call the shot. They're going to say the shot is good. Count the basket, and he'll go to the stripe.
The foul's on Sawyer, his second.
Don't look now, guys, but we got a 5-point game. Make it 4.
Well, this has been an amazing comeback by the Trojans here.
Yeah, it sure has, and it's been fueled by
Jake Gross.
Jake Gross.
Well, their 2 leading scorers, Jan Young and Gross, are the ones that are going to have to carry them the rest of the 4-12.
Here is Lee, had it rejected as he went up to the rim.
No foul there. Stop the ball.
Young will lay it in off the chase. Down to 4 minutes, and it's a 2-point ball game, 52 to 50.
Timeout here, maybe. Coach Leach settle this down.
And they're about to get Blake Hoffman back. He's passed the protocols. Next stoppage.
Oh, call the foul.
Yeah, he did.
Glass was driving.
Chamberlain's going to be his third. Glass is going to shoot 2.
He needs both of these.
Yeah, at least 1 out of the 2.
Well, he's got that.
Trevian Gordon's back in the lineup for Jayshawn Lee. Hoffman back in for Huss.
This will make it a 2-possession game.
As they work out where they want to have everybody lined up after this last shot. Glass puts it up. Can't get it, but the rebound now up for grabs on the floor. Bradford not able to get it, and so Tremper will start back the other way. Trailing only by 3. They've been down by, close to 20 in this second half. Now here's Young connecting.
Foul.
Jayon Young has made it a 1-point ball game. And Young is going to have a chance to tie this ball game.
Shooting the free throw.
The old-fashioned way.
Dunkin' Donuts.
He dunked it in.
He's got it.
Well, here we go, Coach.
Tied at 53 with 3.5 left. Got us a brand new ball game. Glass. Up top. Dribbles. Backs off. Puts up a shot. Nothing but net. I'm not even sure it touched the net on the way by.
Are you kidding me?
Maxwell Glass, and he's saying, take it easy there, Tremper faithful. We got something left to say in this game. Chamberlain will put up a 3 to try to answer. He can't. But how about Gross going through traffic, flying to find the rebound, and then Gordon found it on the floor after the pass.
Dove for the ball. Just made a great play, did Trevion Gordon that time. On the floor to keep the possession to Bradford.
Carlino off the side of the backboard.
Not a good shot.
Just unleashed it a little too late in the movement there. Down to 2.5 minutes, 56-53, Bradford.
Well, you had Gross on the pop. Couldn't get it to him.
There's Chamberlain with a shot that goes off the front of the rim. No,
Chamberlain's going to get the foul that time.
As there was Glass and Chamberlain going after that ball, and Glass almost ended up in the cheerleader's lap there, Coach.
Chamberlain's going to get the foul.
I don't think I'd want to see that collision.
No,
This
neither.
This fourth.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are asking at the conclusion of tonight's contest, all the Tremper fans exit the West Gymnasium doors.
So Glass will stand at the free throw line to take these shots. Can make it a 2-possession ball game. He didn't that time. He gets another one. They're in the double bonus.
Huss is coming in the game for Chamberlain, who's got 4 with 2:14 left to go.
We're going to see a lot of free throws the last 2 minutes. I'm predicting that. And the team that can make the most of them is going to win this. Glass made that one. Well, you know.
All right, here we go.
I'm trying to work on the Captain Obvious so I get the hotel endorsements, you know.
Now, this is a big possession for Tremper right now. Down 4. They have to come up with a bucket.
There's the bucket.
Nope.
Oh yeah. Jake
3.
Rose says, you know what, Coach Perini, I got this. It's a 1-point ball game, 57-56.
How many's he got, Coach?
He's got quite a few this second half. He's got 16
This half?
this half.
Darden up top, gives it over for Carlino.
Coach Leach wants him to keep running it. There's no hurry because they're in a double bonus.
Turn it over.
Just give it. Oh,
There it
brother.
is, offline for Glass, down to a minute 18, 57-56 Bradford.
Not a good one by Glass. I'm sure Coach Leach wasn't happy with that. Jan.
Young puts
No.
it up with
Oh.
one hand, there it is. Tremper's in front, 58-57, 61 seconds remaining.
I'd call timeout.
Yeah, you would think Coach Leach would.
Glass has got it, he's along the baseline, he lays it in. Maxwell Glass, 59-58. Now Bradford's got to get on defense.
Tremper's got to get a timeout, don't you think, Coach?
Down
Play
to
for
40
one.
seconds.
I don't know.
He lost the
That's a
basketball to
travel.
Young.
That's a travel.
They
They stopped the play.
He's calling a jump ball, but he's going to give him a timeout. Coach Shamlis was right in the official's face there. He wanted timeout when he said no possession. So it's going to be a jump ball.
Now he doesn't want it,
He's
Coach.
Oh, yeah, he's going to take it. He's going to give him the timeout.
I don't think
Stops
he
the clock
wanted it.
at 37.7 seconds.
The official
59-58.
The official was right in front of Shamnis, and he was right there in his face. I want that timeout. I don't know if the ball was loose, though, when he called that timeout.
I thought he traveled. He slid about 8 feet on the floor.
How do you explain, Coach? You come, Bradford's up big. Tremper comes storming back, and then Maxwell Glass shoots a 3. It was way offline to the right in a tie ball game or down 1, and then he comes back, drives the baseline, and scores for Bradford. Put him ahead. How do you explain something like that?
I don't know. I was never that good.
I'm glad we have video of it, to be honest with you, because
I
it's worth a million words, I think.
I was never that good.
I mean, Coach Leach, he's got some hair. I don't think I'd have any if I saw him shooting that 3.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. I just, I wasn't even really close. I know he hit one previously in the same spot, but
I'll tell you, this has been a remarkable comeback.
by Tremper, yeah. They got a chance to win the game. This is a carbon copy, except Bradford had a chance to win it at Tremper.
Last 30 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a foul on Trivian Gordon.
So Gross will go to the line.
Little push.
Well, one and one.
Yeah. Well, that was a 10. He's got 2.
Oh, yeah. Double bonus material. He made the first. It's a tie ball game. Basketball on WLIP. Brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit. I-94, Highway 50 across from Woodman's. Gross makes the second one, 60-59.
29 seconds.
Bradford going to let him play, or Leach going to call timeout.
Carlino hands off for Gordon, down to 20 seconds. It's a 1-point ball game, ball taken away.
Another travel.
Now he's got to get a timeout. I think he's getting Jason Lee in the game. Is Coach Leach going to call a timeout? No.
I think he's going to let him play.
Lee's coming in for Darden. Going to let him play through this.
17.2 seconds, Pete.
60-59. Tremper has come roaring back to take the lead in this ball game from being down almost 20 points in the second half.
Bradford going to look to get the ball to the.
Oh, there's a pass that was lost off of Glass's hands, and Burns found it with 8 seconds remaining. A disaster for the Red Devils. Tremper ball.
Glass is going to pick up his 5th foul, and Burns is going to go to the line. And he hasn't been there all game. What do you call it, technical too?
Glass has fouled out of this ball game, I think, and he has not left the court as of yet, so they're going to wait for that.
Wait. Then they get the ball too?
They gave him a technical?
I wonder if they gave...
What is they call it, an intentional foul? I didn't see the arms crossed for intentional.
I think they're calling Glass for not leaving the court right away.
No.
Burns made the first, 61-59.
He's got a.
Second one is on the way. It's offline. So 8 seconds remaining. 61-59 is the lead.
And Bradford's got a foul right away. Tremper's going to inbound. Got to make sure they get it in.
It's in. There's the foul.
Yep. Sawyer.
Basketball on WLIP brought to you by Westosha Sports Complex. 0 to Hero Conditioning. Visit WestoshaSportsComplex.com and Triangle Flooring, Furniture, and Appliance Center, Highway 50 at 39th Avenue in Kenosha. Crucial free throws coming here for Blake Hoffman.
Put this out of reach. 2 possession if he makes them both.
He missed the first, so now the best he can do is make Bradford force a 3 for a chance to tie.
Get a rebound call timeout.
Yeah, I'm sure Leach will call a timeout here if he makes it, or misses it for that matter.
Second one is on the way. He made that one, so it's a 3-point ball game. Here is the inbound. Here comes Sawyer. And there's the timeout, I believe.
No, they fouled.
Did they call him a foul? They did call a foul. Well, that's just out of my line of sight with the Tremper bench when they come to their feet.
Intentional foul there. They didn't want him to tie it with a 3, so they fouled him. Too often you see that 3 let them shoot it and send it to overtime or tie it. Sawyer's going to be at the line.
He's got to make them both, needless to say. Keep his team in the ball game. He made that one.
Call timeout.
Now do you intentionally miss this?
Definitely.
Intentionally miss this.
Definitely.
Try to get the rebound. You got Gordon inside along with Lee.
He made that one. So it's a 1-point ball game. There's 3.9 seconds. There's the Bradford. There is the timeout on the court to Tremper with 3 seconds remaining. And what is being talked about here in the Tremper huddle?
Well, obviously the first thing is get the ball in bounds and hold it. Let them foul you, but you got to get the ball in bounds. You don't want to take a risk of throwing a bomb or a long pass and going out of bounds and nobody touching it, because then it goes back to where it was underneath the basket. Tremper's got to find a way to get the ball in bounds and then hang on to it. If they think they're going to throw it away, use their last time out, but don't throw it away, all right? Because they're in a double bonus situation. So, but the first thing is getting it in bounds. Get the ball in bounds. You got 5 seconds all the way. Once the ref gives you the ball, ref's telling them you can run the end line. Got to get the ball in bounds. I don't know if, Tremper should have all their good free throw shooters in the game right now, if there's such a thing. Well, he's got Hess in there. That's Bradford's got Jason Lee on the ball. They got to get it in bounds.
Trying to do it.
And that's it. They got it to Gross. So, well, Gross is going to go to the line to shoot 2.
All right, foul number 20, Little Guard. For personal with the double bonus for the Trojans at the
So
line,
now,
23.
free throws coming here again. Could make it very difficult for Bradford to work it up and get off a shot. Especially if he makes this one. Now it's a 2-point game. Make one more, you're going to have to force him to set up and take a 3. He made them both. Jake Gross. 64-61. There is the Bradford timeout.
How many's you got now, Coach?
20 in this half. 22 total.
Did a nice job.
64-61. 3 seconds remaining. Bradford's going to talk some strategy. They not only, as Nick was mentioning before, on the other side of the court, not only do you have to get it in, Coach, but then you got to try to get it into the guy who's going to give you the best opportunity to put up that 3-point play.
And he's already fouled out. Glass is fouled out.
Exactly.
So now where do you go?
Well, let me tell you,
I think you go to Perini.
I don't think Chamness is going to let them shoot the 3. He's going to foul them, make them shoot 2 free throws.
I agree.
Inbound the ball, and then let them take a couple clock ticks off the clock, and then foul.
All right.
So
I am being told by the studio that we are going live on the air. We have been on YouTube and Facebook all night. We are going live on AM 1050 WLIP, our usual platform, as the Carthage game has gone final. This has been a wild one. We have 3 seconds remaining.
Joining us, here it is. The inbounds, they're going to foul. Are you going to foul?
They get it down. Here comes a 3. It's offline. And this ball game is over. The Tremper Trojans have come from a near 20-point deficit to win 64-61. Now we'll recap how we got this far for the radio audience who just joined us.
Yeah, this is a carbon copy of the first meeting between the two. Tremper hung on again, and this time they hung on a second time. What a great comeback in the second half. What a great second half by Jake Gross. He had 20 points in that second half, and he fueled the comeback for the Trojans. Obviously, I was, again, at the end there, I'm surprised they let them shoot that 3. I thought they were going to foul before that once they got the ball.
So describe what happened there.
That was right on the money.
A little short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came down to Carlino via Lee, and he put up the shot and he just couldn't get the angle on it.
There's no way Tremper should have got back in this ball game.
No.
They weren't even on the bonus. They were down double figures, and Jake Gross put him on his back, took him back to 80th Street, 85th Street over on the south side.
So, Coach, you never know, shorthanded were the Trojans. Obviously, we didn't talk about it as far as personnel-wise, but last week they were missing 2 of their starters, and again tonight. And, it's a great win for Coach Chamness and his Trojans coming back from a deficit that at one time was, 18?
Yeah.
They were down 18 and fueled by Jake Gross in that second half of 20 points. The first half he only had a bucket, and then Jayon Young, obviously, in the second half had a good one as well with 15 points. So their 2 leading scorers obviously carried them like they should.
So 64-61, the final score here tonight. We'll let Nick do a little math so we can get you some final stats here on this ball game. But again, close at halftime. I said the impetus was going to be on Tremper in the second half to keep it close, and I got to be honest with you, as we got halfway through there, Coach Roders, it looked like Bradford was doing exactly what they needed to do to get a W in this ball game. I mean, all the credit in the world has got to go, especially to Jake Gross, who just put his team on his shoulders and said, we're going to win this ball game.
Yeah, Tremper did a real nice job coming down the stretch. I believe Gross had 20 points in the second half, so he had about 24 for the game. Big win for Tremper, and like I said, you got to start to get some rhythm as you go into the month of February and hopefully carry that into the month of March, because now you got to go to these seeding meetings. You're seated according to your record and what your coach can say on behalf of you. In this particular case, Ben can go into that seeding meeting and say, hey, Bradford was a game out of first place in the month of February. We beat them on their home turf. We deserve a little love here, if you want to say. So it's going to be very interesting, Pete, but certainly Joe Lunardi Perini Nicoli has his work cut out for him now, because those numbers are being juggled. But I had said earlier, you know, Gross, he had some nice shots early and they didn't go. Kept shooting the ball, kept taking the ball to the basket, and they started to drop for him in the second half. And you know, you got to be happy for a senior. I don't care who they're playing for.
And you know, you think in terms of the conference race as well, with Case having already won, the pressure is on Bradford to especially your final home game of the year to keep chase, and now you fall 2 games behind. We're seeing Case, and again, if you're thinking in terms, I know maybe you don't think in terms of banners during the game, but if you're thinking in terms of trying to win the conference, trying to get as much of a home court advantage as you can once you get into the month of March, this is a big blow to Bradford.
Well, it certainly is, and now Bradford's going to be 2 games out of first. They're going to have 4 straight games on the road. I don't know. You got to regroup, and the later you have problems during the season, although Bradford's had a nice year, the later they have problems, the more difficult it is, obviously, to try and get things straightened away. So hats off to Ben Chamness. Coach, you need a calculator? Or?
Yeah.
No, he needs to not be distracted.
I need people not come near the table.
What we need to do is to get velvet rope around here.
Yeah, keep them away.
You guys, you know what the problem is you guys are just way too gosh darn popular. That's the story here. So 64-61, the final score. Tremper here wins this ball game. Now, if you came in late, maybe you were listening on the radio feed, the good news is this is on the YouTube page, so you'll be able to go back and watch this one. And I would imagine there'd be some Southside fans that will want to come back and catch up on how this ball game turned out tonight. This might be an all-timer for the Tremper Trojans, as again they were down by like 19 points in the second half, and were able to come back and win this ball game. And you know, again, another big moment in this one, Maxwell Glass fouling out late in the game. We mentioned he is the best 3-point shooter and was not available. Carlino, I should say, DeQuante Sawyer tried to put up that last 3 and just could not get it to go. And so the Tremper Trojans come away with a victory here tonight. So they will go into the last stretch of the season with that feather in their cap. And Nick Perini, the feather in his cap, is tonight's final stats.
Wow, what a finale. For the Tremper Trojans, who now go to 12-5 overall and 6-5 in the Southeast Conference. And obviously, they were led by Jake Gross. He had 7 baskets, 6 free throws for 22, 20 of those points in that second half to bring the Trojans back. Jayon Young had 6 baskets, 5 free throws for 17. Cameron Huss, 1 basket, 4 free throws for 6. Preston Chamberlain, 1 basket for 3. Torrin Burns, 1 basket, 1 free throw for 3. And Will Starks, a basket for 2. 22 total baskets for the Trojans, 16 free throws, many of those in that second half. They didn't miss a free throw in that second half. One free throw, excuse me, in the second half. All the rest, Gross was 6 for 6 in that second half, and Jan Young was 4 for 4. So 64 total points for the victorious Trojans. For Bradford, Bradford drops to 13-5 and 7-4, and now 2 games behind Case at 7-4, and Case is 9-2.
They play Case Friday.
No,
Indian Trail and
Tuesday.
Case on
Pardon me.
on
Okay.
Friday.
Leading scorer for the Red Devils, Maxwell Glass. He had 9 baskets, 2 free throws for 21. DeQuante Sawyer, 3 baskets, 6 free throws for 13. Jalen Carlino, 2 baskets, 5 free throws for 10. Jay-Sean Lee, 5 baskets, 1 free throw for 11. Will Darden, 1 basket for 3. For the Red Devils, they had 22 total baskets, 15 free throws, 61 total points. Final score, Kenosha Tremper 64, Kenosha Bradford 61.
How close was it, Pete? They both had 22 baskets. One team had 1 3-point basket more than the other, and one team also had 1 more free throw. So
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So that's how this one turned out here tonight. Well, we're right back at it on Friday night along the way on AM 1050 WLIP and streaming at WLIP.com as we are back on the west side. Indian Trail taking on the aforementioned Racine. Case will be on the air 6:45 with the pregame following lip-off. 7 o'clock the tip-off along the way on WLIP. Well, we have a lot of people to thank to make tonight's broadcast a reality. Want to especially shout out to Wayne Carley, who put together the video portion of this, as well as our camera crew. Scott DeLabio back in our WLIP studios, who monitored both the Carthage game and this one, and able to get us onto the radio to bring you the exciting end to the ball game. So we're going to wrap it up here for tonight for Tom Roders and Nick Perini. It's Pete Sargent reporting. Again, the final score, Tremper 64, Bradford 61. You've been watching and listening to the high school basketball game of the week on AM 1050 WLIP and streaming on YouTube. Good night.